Not all bones belong to history books. Some belong to myths and creatures we thought existed only in stories.
Bigfoot is out there in the woods. Bigfoot is a biological recording device for the gray alien.
But when a skeleton with wings appears, or a skull shows signs of something not quite human, questions begin to rise. And the answers, they might leave you shocked. So stay tuned. No one was ready for what came out of the ground in Denmark. While workers were fixing an electrical grid in a town called Asa, they uncovered over 50 Viking skeletons. And these weren't just bones. The bodies still had 5 fingers, 5 toes, and were so well preserved it shocked the experts. Usually, they're lucky to find 2 teeth in Viking graves. But here, entire skeletons rested alongside rare objects like glass beads, a bronze brooch, and a piece of rock crystal from Norway.
The object I'm holding in my hand right now is a certain Viking age brooch.
One even wore a Viking brooch with pieces of ancient cloth still stuck to it. Finds like this aren't just discoveries. They're buried secrets, finally speaking after centuries.
Female object that was worn on the breast.
Mysterious fairy.
Individual who's indicated they found it on the side of the road.
A few years ago, someone claimed to find a strange fairy-like creature on a roadside in Mexico. It looked half human, half bat, with tiny wings. The creature was passed around for years, making headlines and spreading all over the internet. Some people believed it was a real fairy from old legends. Finally, it was sent to the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History for investigation. Experts took a close look, but even now, no one can fully explain what this thing really is. I bet people would line up just to see it in person if it went on display.
On this specimen, it has a very primate or human.
Fallen angel found. This might be one of the strangest discoveries ever made by miners. In a remote area of Russia's Amur region, a group of miners claimed to have dug up a terrifying statue. It wasn't just any statue. It had enormous wings on its back, a sword in hand, and a cloak covering its face. Locals quickly called it a fallen angel. Videos of the statue spread fast on TikTok, with people saying it gave off strange energy. Some even believed it was linked to ancient myths about the Euphrates River, known in old stories as a place tied to angels and final battles. Even though no one knows who placed it there, the way this statue appeared out of nowhere feels like a warning we weren't meant to see. Bizarre discoveries. A man walked into a secret museum in Falmouth, England, and what he found was beyond strange. On a table, there was a mummified fairy, tiny wings barely holding together. As he walked a few steps ahead, he was even shocked to see that inside a glass box was a mummified mermaid. No one really knew how they ended up there, but it was easy to imagine they'd come from some far-off place, or maybe even from an old shipwreck. Some things wash up from the past, and maybe not everything among us belongs to this world. Giant alien bones. People on the island of Sardinia have told strange stories for centuries. They believe giants once lived there long ago. Even though the island is full of huge old stone structures, no one had solid proof until 1979. During an excavation under a small church, workers claimed to find giant skeletons, some as tall as 12 feet.
Marty and I were supposed to finally get access to an actual giant bone.
But here's the weird part. Those bones were quickly taken into the church and vanished overnight. Since then, many other giant bones have reportedly been found and then hidden away.
I interviewed 2 individuals who worked on the excavation of the neuralgic ruins in the town of Sadara.
Dried vampire. An old attic in Bavaria, Germany, held a horror no one expected. A woman named Ludwika Schmidt had inherited her grandfather's house and farm. While sorting through the attic, she uncovered a coffin-shaped box. Inside lay a dried body with sharp teeth and strange holes in its jaw, marks often linked to vampire legends. The body's condition was perfect, frozen in time. Scientists at the Museum of Natural History in Munich took over. Tests revealed human DNA mixed with something unknown. These results sent cold fear through experts. It hinted that vampire stories might not be just stories, but real, buried secrets. Reptilian mummy mystery. Tourists visiting a museum in Bucharest, Romania, were shocked by this bizarre display. A reptilian mummy with a terrifying skeletal structure. Its rough, armored skin and sharp teeth made it look more like a creature from ancient legends than anything known today. But what really grabbed attention, that it was missing one leg. No one knows how or why. Some believe it might have been part of an ancient conflict, while others suggest it was deliberately preserved this way for unknown reasons. Stapen Hill Revenants.
Then be wrapped around with 3 massive sets of chains and locks and buried in the ground.
Nobody back in 1085 would have guessed 2 ordinary peasants could turn an entire village into a ghost town. But that's exactly what happened in Drakelow, a small English settlement near Burton-on-Trent. The men suddenly passed away while eating dinner and were buried behind St. Peter's Church. By nightfall, locals claimed to see them walking around.
This is the stone which was forced into the jaws of burial.
Concerned, the villagers reopened the graves and found the bodies strangely preserved, with unusual marks on the burial cloths. Fearing something unnatural, they gathered on a nearby hill and carefully burned the remains. As the smoke rose into the sky, 2 black crows were seen flying away. Some say it was a sign that certain forces never truly fade. They simply change shape and linger in silence.
That all the areas in between are similarly filled with burials. We're probably looking at a total burial population of...
Bigfoot skull authenticated.
As president of the Bigfoot community, I think the truth is very important.
In this strange video, a man who calls himself the president of the Bigfoot community shows what he believes is a real Bigfoot head. He insists it's made of bone and not some Halloween prop, even knocking on it to prove its authenticity. According to him, Bigfoot has been on Earth for millions of years, possibly even working with aliens.
They aren't. Does that look hollow to you?
He also claims that people who don't believe in Bigfoot won't be allowed on a ship. Whether or not you believe him, the video definitely raises some questions about the mysterious world of Bigfoot and the strange theories people have about it.
Seriously, I'm annoyed that I have to keep pointing stuff out.
Giant cave skeleton.
विशाल मानव के अस्थि पंजर को देख रहे हैं.
Of all the weird things people have found in caves, this one tops the list. In southern Thailand, a giant skeleton was spotted lying inside an ancient cave, and it's been leaving people speechless since 2023. The strange discovery shows a huge human-like figure stretched out on the floor.
और लंबाई देखने से ऐसा लग रहा है कि कम से कम.
What's odd is how perfectly the bones are arranged, making many wonder if it's the real remains of a giant or something else entirely. The cave has now become a popular spot for curious visitors. Nobody really knows the truth, but it's easily one of Thailand's strangest discoveries.
मेरा विशेष इंटरेस्ट है. मैं आपको बता रहा था.
Frozen in ash. Pompeii has always been a graveyard of strange discoveries, but this one felt different. Archaeologists recently found the remains of 2 men inside an old villa, right on a staircase. One was a wealthy man in his 30s or 40s, and the other a young servant around 18 to 25 years old. The scariest part? Both of them froze in place the exact moment Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. Thick ash buried them alive, capturing their final moments forever. Even after 2,000 years, Pompeii keeps revealing these eerie moments where time stopped forever. Two-headed giant.
It's kind of hard to see because it's in a
Long ago in Patagonia, South America, Spanish sailors claimed to have captured a towering figure, Captua, a 12-foot-tall giant with 2 heads. According to the story, he passed away during an escape attempt and was later mummified. His body was eventually taken to England, where it became part of several exhibits before reaching its current home in a Baltimore antique collection, with 2 heads and a massive frame. Captua stands out as one of the most mysterious figures ever displayed. Some connect him to ancient legends of giants from South America. His story continues to fascinate people around the world, leaving many to wonder about the possibility of unknown beings in Earth's distant past. Unicorn mummy. A forgotten storage room held a secret no one expected. Researchers found a strange preserved body inside an old wooden case with a glass top. It wasn't human, measuring 28 centimeters long. The dried remains had 2 spiral horns, one on its head, another on its snout. The body looked ancient, but oddly intact.
Unidentified remains.
No one spoke of where it came from. Experts admitted they had never seen anything like it. The remains were quickly packed and sent to a private lab. Whatever it is, someone clearly didn't want it found. Mermaid skeleton. Some visitors at the Science Museum in London shared something very strange. A skeleton with a human-like upper body and a fishtail was kept in a glass case. No one truly knew what it was, but its appearance resembled much with a mermaid. Some believed it was a lost creature from the ocean. Others guessed it came from a secret experiment long ago. A few even linked it to the famous Fiji mermaid story from the 1800s. Till today, no one has explained where it came from. Whatever the truth was, this skeleton kept one of the world's oldest sea legends alive in a creepy way. Lifeless creature. A man was walking through the woods when something strange caught his eye. Among the fallen branches, he noticed a tiny humanoid figure lying completely still. Its appearance was unsettling, resembling what many would describe as an extraterrestrial visitor. The body looked unusually old, like it had been there for ages. The man didn't dare touch it. He quickly recorded it on camera, then cautiously moved away, unsure of what he had just found. Cyclops skull. In the Midwest, farmhands uncovered an enormous skull with a single large eye socket right in the middle of its forehead. This discovery immediately brought to mind the ancient Cyclops, giants with one eye in the center of their forehead. Though a rare condition called cyclopia causes this in some creatures,
next thing you know, bada boom, bada bing, bada bam, you have a Cyclops.
This skull is over 3 million years old. It belonged to a massive creature, 9 feet tall and weighing 6 tons. Some scientists think it could be an ancient elephant skull, with its nasal cavity mistaken for an eye socket. But could there be more truth to the legend than we realize? Colossal sea monster.
Jaw to the massive pliosaur.
A fascinating sea monster from 75 million years ago has been uncovered on the Jurassic coast in Dorset. Meet the pliosaur, a giant predator with a skull measuring over 2 meters and 130 razor-sharp teeth. Its bite was as powerful as a T-Rex's, capable of tearing through nearly anything in its path, including other sea creatures. The massive jaws were found by a fossil enthusiast on a beach, with experts working carefully to excavate the rest of the pliosaur's skeleton from the cliffs.
They've just come out of the cliff up there somewhere.
The fossil's perfect condition makes it one of the best discoveries in the field. Scientists believe more of its body may still be hidden in the crumbling cliffs, just waiting to be revealed. This creature once ruled the oceans, and soon it will be on display for the world to learn from.
Okay. Oh, wow.
There you go.
Petrified turtle. An unusual discovery in Peru has caught the attention of both locals and travelers. There is a strange rock formation in the river that looks exactly like a giant turtle. Its shell and head are so detailed that many believe it's a petrified turtle, frozen by nature for thousands of years. The size of this thing is what makes it so unbelievable. It seems like this giant creature once roamed the earth. Even experts are unsure if it's a real fossil or just a natural rock. Frozen Bigfoot.
When this juvenile appeared, and when the juvenile...
Back in September 1953, a family made one of the strangest discoveries in a swamp. They claimed to spot a group of Bigfoots, but what happened next was even weirder. 2 adult Bigfoots were found lifeless, and nearby, a young one was still alive, just sitting there, shocked. The family quickly grabbed the little creature and secretly moved it to an underground bunker.
It is stored in this underground bunker. This is one of my...
They named it Jimmy and kept it hidden away from the world. Some folks later suggested these Bigfoots weren't ordinary animals. Maybe they weren't even from this planet. Either way, this case was unlike anything people had seen before.
Their muscles would start twitching, basically.
Island of Giants.
Digging around it, brushing away the mud, pulled it out, and there was this giant stone head gazing back at him.
Nobody really talks about Sardinia, but back in 1974, this quiet island shocked everyone. A farmer digging his field in a place called Monte Prama hit something weird. It wasn't a rock. It was a huge stone head with lifeless black eyes staring back. Archaeologists rushed in and uncovered over 5,000 pieces of giant stone statues, some nearly 8 feet tall. Locals call them the Giants of Monte Prama. Here is the strangest part. Old stories from the island claim real giants once lived there, and some even say giant skeletons were dug up nearby.
And they found over 5,000 fragments of these giant statues.
Crocodile fossils. A strange rock formation has been puzzling people online. It looks exactly like a giant crocodile frozen into the side of a cliff. The video, believed to be filmed in South America, shows a cliffside with patterns that closely resemble crocodile scales, a snout, and even an eye socket. Some viewers are convinced it's the fossil of a massive ancient reptile, while others believe it's just an incredible coincidence of erosion and natural rock shapes. No scientists have confirmed it as a fossil yet, but the resemblance is hard to ignore. Whether it's a prehistoric creature turned to stone, or simply nature playing tricks, this bizarre cliff continues to stir curiosity across the internet. Giant dino bone. A shocking discovery was made in France when a huge dinosaur bone was pulled from the ground. It happened in 2019 at the Angéac-Charente site, a place already famous for dinosaur fossils. But this time, paleontologists dug up a thigh bone over 6 feet long. It belonged to a sauropod, one of the biggest dinosaurs to ever exist, weighing up to 50 tons and living around 140 million years ago. What amazed scientists most was how well this giant bone had survived all those years. Thousands of fossils have been found at this site, but nothing quite like this beast. Fossil excavation went wrong.
Just take them up very slow, Sam.
This fossil discovery went from excitement to disaster in seconds. At a mining site in Alberta, a worker was operating heavy machinery when he noticed strange, layered slabs in the soil. They looked nothing like the usual rock. Soon, experts were called, and what they uncovered left them stunned.
Dirt and she let go. Yeah, she didn't take much pressure.
A perfectly preserved dinosaur fossil, still holding its ancient armor. The team carefully prepared to lift it, but as the plaster cradle shifted, the fossil cracked. It had survived 110 million years underground. The pieces were rushed to a lab, where experts spent 6 years restoring it. Even now, no one's sure how this ancient beast met its end. Lost sea giant. A lucky discovery surprised archaeologists near the Crimean Bridge construction site. While digging layer by layer, they uncovered the skeleton of an ancient whale called Cetotherium. This giant whale had been buried for about 10 million years, back when the area was covered by the Sarmatian Sea. The skeleton stretched almost 3 meters long, with large ribs and vertebrae lying just below the surface. Sadly, the head was missing, as it likely broke off long ago. Experts will now study the bones to learn more about this rare sea giant. Once examined, the remains will be displayed in a local museum for everyone to see. Prehistoric bones.
We'd been out in Naples and had seen the shattered remains of the battle.
In Mendes, Greece, a paleontologist and her crew uncovered the bones of a Hipparion, an ancient horse, along with a huge mastodon bone. At first, folks believed these were from circus elephants that escaped long ago, but soon it became clear they belonged to animals from a time when giant beasts ruled the land. Ancient Greeks, especially in Euboea, likely stumbled across bones like these and thought they had proof of giants from their old stories.
I can show here a very extraordinary bone.
Mysterious mummies. In September 2023, 2 small mummified bodies were presented to Mexico's Congress, claimed to be non-human beings. The event sparked global intrigue and skepticism. To investigate, Mexican doctors conducted CT scans, X-rays, and fluoroscopy studies. Dr. Jose de Jesus Zalce Benitez, director of the Health Sciences Research Institute of the Secretary of the Navy, reported that the remains belonged to single skeletons with no evidence of assembly or manipulation. Despite these findings, many scientists remain unconvinced, noting the specimen's humanoid features and the presenter's history of discredited claims. The debate continues, highlighting the need for rigorous scientific analysis in such extraordinary claims. The Iceman, Otzi. This might be the coolest discovery you've never heard of. In 1991, 2 hikers were walking across a glacier high in the Alps near the Austria-Italy border. That's when they spotted something strange in the ice. It wasn't a rock, it was a frozen body, not from last year or even last century, but from over 5,000 years ago. Scientists later named him Otzi the Iceman. His clothes, tools, and even his last meal were still with him. Tests showed he had heart problems and carried a disease from tick bites. Some secrets don't stay frozen forever. They always find a way out. Cave giants.
And skeletons that measure between 7 and 8 feet in height.
Digging for fertilizer turned into a nightmare in Lovelock, Nevada, back in 1911. Inside a narrow cave, 2 miners stumbled upon something horrifying. More than 40 human skeletons, some far too large to be normal. Even stranger, several of them had red hair. Old native stories spoke of red-haired giants who once terrorized the region. Burn marks near the entrance hinted at a battle long ago.
And the Paiute people stuffed the openings with a bunch of brush and firewood.
For years, giant skulls and huge sandals were kept in a local museum until they mysteriously vanished. These rare discoveries revealed a truth people were never meant to see, that giants may have once walked among us.
The strange thing is that many of the artifacts were huge, like you have giant-sized sandals.
Mermaid Remains.
What the hell? What is that, Mom?
Now, this is one weird riverside discovery you won't believe. A couple was out by a quiet river when they spotted what looked like a stick lying inside near the edge. But when they picked it up, things took a creepy turn. It wasn't a stick, it was a tiny skeleton with a human-like skull and a fish-like tail.
What is happening? You guys see this?
Its shape was way too perfect to be a broken branch or a fishbone. The man got scared and quickly dropped it back into the water. They left without looking back. Honestly, if mermaids ever existed, maybe this was one of their last forgotten secrets.
Ma, you see this?
No. Holy sh...
Petrified Giant. A strange video once made rounds online, showing what looked like a petrified giant sitting quietly on a mountainside. Filmed from a good distance, the rocky shape oddly resembled a human figure, sitting with its face turned toward the horizon. The clip quickly grabbed the attention of mystery lovers and researchers alike. Some claim it's proof of ancient giants, maybe even tied to the Nephilim mentioned in old texts. They believe this stone figure could have been a giant turned to rock by a curse or ancient power. On the other hand, skeptics say it's just a regular rock formation shaped by years of wind and rain. Demon trapped in bottle. In the past, people believed spirits could be trapped in bottles for protection or punishment. This strange discovery might be one of those forgotten old tricks still hiding underground. A man cleaning up a forest spotted a really old glass bottle buried in the dirt. It looked odd, so he wiped the mud off, and that's when things got creepy. Inside, there was a tiny, strange figure with wings. It looked like an ugly fairy or some creepy demon, sitting as if locked in a cage. The man didn't dare open it. He planned to rebury it. I mean, when you find something like that, it's probably best to leave it alone. Chupacabra Remains. A strange creature was found by a student at the Blanco Taxidermy School in Texas. With gray, leathery skin and features unlike anything native to the area, it was first mistaken for a rodent wreaking havoc in a barn. After setting out poison, they discovered the creature the next day. The taxidermist, Jerry, who's been in the business for over 10 years, has never seen anything like it. The creature has long front legs, much longer than a typical coyote, and displays features reminiscent of the mythical Chupacabra. Whether it's the Chupacabra or something else, this unusual find has everyone intrigued. Vampire Lady Grave. People talk about vampires in stories, but one discovery in Poland made those old fears feel real. In the 17th century, a woman's skeleton was buried in a way no one expected. A sharp sickle was placed over her neck, and a heavy padlock was locked onto her foot. Back then, people believed these things could stop a vampire from rising from the grave. When archaeologists found this setup, it wasn't a story anymore. It was right there in the dirt. Some things aren't legends, they're warnings left behind. Vampire grave. Buried secrets are creepy, but what they found in this old Polish graveyard was next-level strange. Archaeologists digging near an unmarked cemetery uncovered the 400-year-old remains of a woman buried with a sickle pressed against her neck and a padlock chained to her foot. Back then, people believed this would trap a person in the grave if they were feared to return as a vampire. Turns out, this woman suffered from a serious illness in life, and her unusual symptoms probably terrified the village. Even more disturbing, a child's body was buried nearby, face down, with a padlock too. Those old villagers feared the departed enough to lock them down. Decomposing creature. Back in Morau, on September 26, 2011, a strange discovery left locals spooked. A man's dog found a bizarre, decomposing figure outside a house, and it wasn't any animal people recognized. The stench was unbearable, and the creature's details made it worse. It had just 2 toes on each foot, 3 fingers on each hand, and stood around 45 centimeters tall. Nobody dared to touch it, so it stayed there for 4 days. Strangely, it vanished without a trace, except for a sticky, black, emerald-like slime left on the ground. Many believed it wasn't from this world, and I think they might be right about that. Cave alien discovery. A group of robbers went into a cave near Nazca, Peru, hoping to find treasure. But what they found was something no one expected. Inside, they saw a small, strange body lying on the ground. Its skin looked a little blue, and its head was elongated with dark, empty eyes. The cave was quiet, and the figure didn't move. They quickly recorded a video and rushed out. People started saying it was an alien when the clip showed up online. Nobody knows where that body went, and honestly, that's the creepiest part of the whole story. Cursed fairy. Could this be the remains of a cursed fairy? A video on the internet has puzzled viewers. It shows a tiny creature encased in a glass shadow box, its fragile wings and skeletal form preserved in eerie detail. The creature is said to have been found deep within a forbidden forest, a place no one dares to enter. Some speculate it's the remains of a cursed fairy, its spirit trapped inside. Legends suggest that anyone who disturbs such a creature will face its wrath. Is this just a spooky story, or is there more to this strange find? The mystery only deepens as the footage spreads. Alien with a ring. Some people believe gray aliens are advanced, almost robotic beings. So what's with the ring? In a strange video that's been making rounds online, a supposed gray alien appears to be wearing a ring, and it's left a lot of people confused. Jewelry isn't something you'd expect from extraterrestrials. Could it be a tool, a marker of rank, or something with unknown abilities? A few researchers even suggest it might work like our smart devices, serving a purpose we can't yet understand. While no one knows for sure, this bizarre little detail has stirred up fresh debates about the nature of these beings. Elite Roman horse. In 2018, a remarkable discovery near Pompeii gave us a peek into the world of ancient Rome's rich and powerful. Archaeologists uncovered the skeleton of a horse, still wearing its harness and saddle inside a stable of a grand villa. This wasn't just any home. It's believed to have belonged to a high-ranking military officer. Alongside the horse, the remains of 2 others were found, along with 5 bronze objects and 4 wooden pieces once covered in bronze. Experts say these horses were likely used in ceremonies or military processions. With excavations still underway, this rare find already speaks volumes about the luxury and authority of Pompeii's elite before disaster struck. Giant hands. In 2011, archaeologists made a disturbing find while digging in Egypt's ancient city of Avaris. Inside the ruins of a palace, they uncovered 16 human hands buried in 4 separate pits. 2 of those pits sat right in front of what used to be the throne room. Experts dated the bones back around 3,600 years and noticed something odd. The hands were unusually large. This wasn't just a mass grave. Ancient records spoke of soldiers chopping off enemies' right hands as a trophy, sometimes for gold rewards. But the strange size of these hands left researchers puzzled. Some believe it hints at a lost civilization of giant people, possibly connected to old myths. And just like that, one forgotten corner of Egypt whispered its terrifying secret. Whale fossil. A shocking discovery was made in the deserts of southern Peru. Researchers uncovered the fossilized remains of a gigantic whale called Leviathan. This ancient beast had huge teeth, far larger than any modern whale, and jaws strong enough to crush sharks, dolphins, and even other whales. Experts believe it lived alongside a 15-meter-long giant shark, and the 2 may have battled for food in the same waters. The creature's massive jaw was easily large enough to swallow a grown man. Seemed like Earth's ancient oceans were once filled with monsters far more terrifying than anything alive today. Cave kangaroo. You'd expect skeletons in graveyards, maybe museums, but this one was hidden deep in a cave. In Australia's Gippsland region, researchers uncovered the remains of a 50,000-year-old giant kangaroo. And this wasn't just a few bones. Over 150 pieces and a full skull were found, making it one of the most complete kangaroo fossils ever discovered in the country. What really surprised scientists? This kangaroo didn't hop. It walked, and it was huge, twice the size of today's red kangaroo. It took rangers more than 2 years to carefully dig it out. Now, this prehistoric giant is heading to the Melbourne Museum, giving everyone a chance to meet one of Australia's oldest land giants.
Hard to imagine what else is still to be discovered out there in the landscape.
Wendigo, or Chupacabra.
Manos humanas y el tamaño de
During a routine wildlife research trip, a team made a terrifying discovery deep in the woods. Right there on the forest floor lay a creepy skeletal structure, half buried under leaves and dirt. At first glance, it didn't look like any known animal or creature they had ever seen, but as they moved closer, strange details stood out.
Picos en la espalda.
A spiky back, oddly shaped bones, and a strange appearance. Some team members whispered it could be a Wendigo, while others thought it resembled a Chupacabra. Whatever it was, this find wasn't ordinary. The team quickly decided it needed a deeper study before anyone could truly say what kind of horror they had stumbled upon that day.
Tiene pelo.
Baby Bigfoot body.
Looking at the eye spacing, noticing how,
This strange video has been floating around the internet, claiming to show the lifeless body of a baby Bigfoot. It looks creepy, with decayed eyes, a wide nose, and a face that feels way too real. Bigfoot researcher Todd Standing took a closer look at it. He explained how lifeless gorillas and orangutans can sometimes look odd too.
And even the way the eye decay is, the nose.
Which makes it hard to tell what this really is. Todd even compared its face to his own Bigfoot footage and the famous Patterson-Gimlin film. Shockingly, the eye spacing and nose size were pretty close. The video hasn't blown up yet, but it's definitely one of the most disturbing Bigfoot clips I've come across.
Which is something I'm going to really look at hard. He's going back down to the belly.
And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. At St. Peters Basilica in Vatican City, one monument hides something strange. It's the tomb of Pope Alexander VII, designed by the famous artist Bernini. At first, it looks like a normal religious statue, but down below, there's a bronze skeleton with wings, holding an hourglass. That figure is meant to be a demise itself. Even stranger, the cloth around it isn't real fabric. It's carved from red Sicilian jasper, and it actually hides a secret doorway. Above it, statues of virtues stand by the praying pope. But it's that hidden skeleton that leaves the strongest message. No one can outrun time.